There are many street circuits around the globe. When most people think of street circuits, especially in open wheel racing, the first thing that comes to mind is Monaco. Then maybe street circuits like Singapore, Montreal, even including Melbourne as well as Macau. But for the United States, one of the most famous street courses is Long Beach, and we're here for the next rounds of both the F3 and the F1 championship for Formula I. My name is Finny Acuna, currently by myself at the moment. Hoping to get someone else joined in the booth with me in a little bit, but for now you got to bear with the sound of my voice here as qualifying is underway for Formula 3. We'll cut to the action now on track. Drivers have already started to put down some time to at least begun their laps. As you look at Trevor Anderson, who's one of 3 new drivers in this series in the number 16 car. So also Tyler Langenberg, his teammate, both of them driving for Whiplash Racing. And then we also have, we're trying to see if she's on the track, Katie Hayden, I believe is how you say that name. She's currently not on the track, so we'll see if she can get out there and get a solid time down. But speaking of times, currently at the top of the charts is currently Peltomake, currently sitting in second. But in first is Jacob Toffs for SimSport News. And I want to say this is a new livery. I can't quite be sure of that after I missed last round at Spa after taking a little bit of a break. So after covering this round, Kyle's currently in Road America, or at Road America I should say, at the moment. So I'll be covering the stream for this afternoon. But Tops is going to pull off to the side, going to be happy with that lap, going to get back out as 6.5 minutes to put a second time down. Frederick Larson, Frederick Larson, I believe is how you say that, in the 22 car, currently sitting 4th place in the standings, and Colin Black currently rounding out the top 5, or actually just got put to 6th, as Sebastian Jackson just came across the line and is taking the 4th place spot in his car for Violante Racing, the team of Volante Racing, in that blue machine. Also of note as well, his teammate is back. Sam ran at the Spanish round of the Formula 3 Championship and is now also back here for Long Beach. Really happy to see him back. Definitely a driver, along with Luke Barton, able to compete up with Juho Peltomaki and Juho Peltomaki and his teammate, who's actually leading the championship standings, but not here at the moment for what I've seen so far. Indeed is not here is Yanni Makilla. So Makilla going to drop out of that spot, but again, these drivers do have drop weeks available to them, so not the end of the world. But Barton in behind, just right in behind Peltomaki, is trying to chase him down. In fact, we're right on board with Luke Barton. I think he's either on a fly or on an out lap. I'm not sure, one of the two. Hey, I'll say this is a warm-up lap here, but we'll wait till he comes back across the start-finish line to hopefully start a full lap to get an idea of this tight and twisty track. And again, we don't really have Monaco, especially as I think he just lost a wheel. Nope. Okay, he got really close to it. That's how close these guys are going to be getting to the walls around a track like this, is because they're so close to the sim even detects that they're close to the wall. But as we start a lap here for Luke Barton, he's going to go flying down the front straightaway, down into turn 1, first heavy braking zone of the track. Deep on the brakes, trying to swing this car left. We got to watch out for the wall coming on the right side. Then through the fountain here, very tight single lane corner. It's going to be very interesting on the start to see if we may get a pileup down through the next few corners. 2 right-handers, got to avoid those rumble strips off to the right-hand side. Can definitely damage your car and your wing if you're not careful enough. Now into another left-hander, deep on the brakes a lot earlier than you might expect. Coming swinging out wide to a very wide section of track, going all the way back to the left-hand side to set up for another right-hander onto the back straightaway. And again, another long straight to get some decent amount of slipstream in the straights here, except for the front one, not too terribly long. So could see some passing opportunity down the end here into another right-hander, sweeping into the left-hand corner. This is very tight. He's got a break starting now for the hairpin, and a very tight hairpin it is. Steve Barton finally getting the car straight, able to get back on the gas, and that will complete a lap here at the Long Beach Street Circuit. And for Barton, want to see that was a particularly good lap. Indeed it was. It was a 113.9, the first time below a 114 in qualifying here for F3. And it's going to be good enough to keep him on pole by almost half a second over Juho Peltomaki. We'll see if Peltomaki has a chance to step up the pace here. His last lap was also his best, but he's going to have to do a lot better if he wants to sit on pole position. We'll see if he can get it done here in the next few minutes. Also of note, Jacob Tops, a really solid performance for him. Currently sitting in third place with his time, which is a 1:15. So he's a second off of his teammate. There's a large disparity in the times, trailing back to 8th place of at least the guys that have put down a time yet. Still not seen Sam Couture put a lap time down. Want to see if he is on a flying lap. Nope, that's the wrong graphic there. This is the one I was looking for. 32nd first sector, that sounds about right. Might have almost got a piece of the wall there. I think he's swerving just to make sure that the car is fine. It actually looks like he's trying to build up heat, so I think the next lap for him is going to be a flyer. So he's getting his tires a little warm, but he's only going to have one more shot to put down a time here. Might have two, but I might only take one here. Because he's going to take a very wide line. And that's a qualifying line right there, setting up, trying to get every single kilometer per hour down the straightaway and across the line. We'll see if it's going to be good enough for him. I keep pulling up this graphic. It's the wrong one. It is the sector time. Hey, Connor! How's it going? We're doing F3 at Long Beach is what we're doing. Glad to have you on board before the start of the race. But whoa, as I'm actually looking at Sam Couture, he actually spins out. And he was on a flying lap and he's gonna have barely enough time to get back around to start another, and he has yet to put out a time. And you were able to watch him at the Spanish Grand Prix, or the Spanish round for the F3 Championship, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Yeah, absolutely, and we've seen him only one time before, and that was at Suzuka in the F3 Championship, and did very well there. He, in fact, won the race and then didn't show up again the next week at Italy, but came back at Spain, and now here at Long Beach here, he's going to have enough time, 30 seconds to start another lap. And he's going to be trying to beat Luke Barton, who's been able to hold on to pole for now. Jacob Tops has notably gone up to second and has passed Juho Peltomäki. This is kind of surprising from Peltomäki. After the pace he's shown, he's been looking, him and his teammate, who's not here, Janne Makila, have dominated this series so far, getting out of the 5 races we had, they finished 1, 2 in 3 of them. So it's been pretty shocking to not see him up near the top. Absolutely, as Couture coming down the back straightaway here. And has got one more attempt, can't afford any mistakes here, otherwise he's going to be starting way down the back of the order. And again, with the driver of his pace, should be up near the top. As he comes flying out of the hairpin now. Back into the front straightaway. Don't think he had anything, so this lap should be clean. We'll see, can he interrupt the Sim Sports News guys up at the top of the standings? Across the line for Couture is going to be only good enough for 4th position, but still significantly better than if he didn't put a time down. So he should be, I imagine, somewhat happy with that. $117.5 for Sebastian Jackson. Not going to be good enough to improve his time. He's going to be starting all the way back down in 10th place, but that is essentially going to wrap up qualifying here. Actually, was a little bit mistaken. We have Tyler Langenberg comes across the line, fairly slow lap for him, a 1 minute 20 for him, so was able to just get a time into at least hold on to 14th. And we'll let pretty much qualifying wrap up here. But as we get ready for the F3 race here, Connor, as a driver, what do you need to watch out for?
Yeah, especially at a track like Long Beach, you have to watch out for a pileup. It's this really small quarters. There's really not much room to navigate. At a track that they were at Spain the last time they raced, and While the track might be narrow there, you have a lot to work with if you want to avoid a wreck. Here, you got the road, and then pretty much you just got walls around you, especially for the first couple of corners. The turn one, it's especially tight turn one, and then you got the turn around the fountain. It's going to be really tough if the leaders or someone up front piles up and gets into the walls. They're going to have a lot of trouble getting around it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the interesting thing, too, is the fact that I did check with the admins. We do not have safety cars on the line here for these drivers. And for anyone that is watching this race and has watched the Indy Elite Series when they came here to Long Beach for IndyCar, they had a big pileup in the fountain section that caused a early caution for these guys. So if there is a pileup, there's not going to be that chance for that, as what I've been told. So not to see these guys can't keep it clean enough down there, otherwise it's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work. They might get lapped trying to wait for everyone to clear the wreck, so we'll see. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't want to see that happen, as we got on the front row Luke Barton and Jacob Tofsto's teammates once again up at the front, and then Yuho Peltomaki and Sam Couture up there on that second row.
Yeah, Frederick Larson and Danny O'Keefe rounding out row number 3. Then we got Enzo Heceta, Zach Booth in the next row, Martin Hassan, Hassan, I believe is how you say that, Sebastian Jackson in 10th, Trevor Anderson 11th, Scott Hensley in 12th. We got Colin Black in 15th, Tyler Langenberg in 14th, Katie Haidet in 15th, Paolo Kogretzky in 16th, and Daniel Ferreo rounding out our field of 17 here as they're all lining up waiting for the red lights to come on and extinguish, and we'll get ready here at Long Beach. 20 seconds left on the gridding, and these guys can imagine how anticipated this start is. Again, considering how tight this track is, track position going to be very important, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, everyone's going to be trying for everything. We got to hope that they don't absolutely crash into each other, because they know how important the track position is going to be so early on in this one.
Absolutely here. Locking down to 0 now. Red lights coming on here. The revs for these drivers going to be in the red here as they're getting their engines ready to get started. And here we go. Green in the air at Long Beach. And here we got the run down to turn number 1. Luke Barton leading the field of 17 down to the corner. Some guys driving out, darting out here, heading to turn 1. Got to be careful. It's going to be very tight.
Missed it.
And yeah, Couture, as you were saying, missed the first corner. He's going to drop way down the order. You can see him sliding on the tires as he's trying to get slowed down. I heard some carnage in the background. Looks like for the most part got through the fountain section already. That's really the first big question mark as far as getting through the lap. Okay, as we got a spin in the background. Larson around.
Yeah, I thought I saw someone getting really sideways right there at the very end of that little section there. It looks like he was able to... Oh, he's still having problems. I don't see if he has damage. It doesn't look like the car is absolutely destroyed, so I'm able to continue, but all that track position lost early.
Yeah, it's already again a 1-2 lead for Sim Sport News. Barton tops your top 2. Peltomaki trying to chase them down. Couture darting out of Zach Booth. And Booth was a really good effort so far early in the going. Almost had left the door open for Couture, though.
Yeah, Couture trying to get something to happen there. A lot of drivers go through the hairpin. Definitely not a too wide corner there. Zach Booth, kind of surprised he was down the order all the way in 8th there, trying to make something happen for a poor qualifying run as Zach Booth trying to hold off Couture. Couture trying to go a long way around to that little kink there, but that's going to position him perfectly for turn number 1.
Yeah, we'll see who's going to be braver on the brakes if Booth is going to let Couture on by. Indeed, he will. Very tight is turn 1, and you can see them avoid. Okay, oh no! There's a big contact as Couture goes flying into the tire barriers, loses his rear wing, and Zach Booth, oh no! Up and over goes one of the Whiplash Racing cars, and that's Trevor Anderson that got major damage. Wow, massive wreck.
Yeah, that was huge, and they're probably getting Frederick Hoygaard Larson also got a piece of someone. I'm not sure who that was. Sebastian Jackson destroyed as well. The right rear torn off the car, and that's where you need a safety car, but obviously not going to happen. That was huge. Zach Booth gave it up, and he definitely didn't want to do that. He just misjudged his braking point completely.
Absolutely. Take a look at what happened here. I'm trying to see if we got a good enough camera angle. This should be decent enough. There you can see a hit from Booth. You can see Booth on the bottom of the screen there. These guys trying to get going, and then more drivers coming in, and everyone trying to hit. Cars going flying into the camera as they were all trying to avoid that incident. We'll ride again on board with the other drivers that came flying into that mess.
Yeah, all these guys are so stacked up with each other. Actually went 3 wide into turn 1 back here, and it's a little bit of a blind corner there. They don't know what's going on. They actually had enough room to get by it, but they had the same problem. Some people just misjudged their braking points and maybe panicked a little bit.
And we're riding on board with Trevor Anderson, who got a wild view of that incident here. He's limping into the pits. His car essentially done, I would imagine, after going flying up and over. We'll see if he could get repaired back out there, but unfortunate debut for the new team here in the F3 Championship. But back up front, nothing much has changed except Barton and Thomas up at the front. They just expanded their lead out even more. Peltomaki trying to chase him down, and he can kind of get his head down to chase these guys as Booth and Kuter, both big competitors, out early on.
Yeah, and that was really huge. I don't think any of them are going to be really happy about that. I think Zach Booth actually took his fast repair. Zach Booth is back on track, but not running well. Sam Kuter's just completely left. Unfortunately for him, and I'm sure Colin Black might not be out there. That was just a huge wreck. That took out a lot of drivers here. Zach Booth's actually is not showing him in the worst position, about 11th or 12th right now. After all of that, I don't know. That was a huge wreck. That might have been close to a quarter, a third, maybe half the field.
Yeah, and trying to see if, and there you can see Zach Booth back in 12th place at the moment. He just got passed by Pavel Okregretsky for that 11th place spot. And then we look back to 10th place. There's Martin Hassan sitting in that 10th spot, the final points playing spot. So we'll see if Okregretsky, maybe even Zach Booth, can try to chase him back down. Gonna be a tall order, but unfortunate start to the night for around half the drivers in the grid. Tyler Langenberg, I'm sure he's a little bit happy. He picked up quite a few spots. He's gone from 14th to 6th so far in this fairly short race.
Yeah, the top 5 are pretty much gone from the rest of the field, and Tyler Langenberg, I believe, was one of the first ones to be able to get by that whole wreck. As you see the rotors glowing on the front of that machine, so he's definitely going to be the beneficiary of a big wreck here. He might be able to get some points.
Oh!
Hopefully he keeps the car intact. I don't think that's going to cause damage to suspension. Looks okay from our view, but let's not do that for the next 20 or so minutes here. He's still got Daniel Floria trying to chase him down right now. Floria also up a bunch of positions, 17th to 7th on the grid, so an even better climb for him.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure a lot of that was due to that incident, because as far as after that incident occurred, I've seen about almost half the grid come down on a pit road to either fix damage and or retire. Speaking of retiring, we only really lost Kuter in that. Everyone else is still kicking. We still got 15 drivers on the track. Katie, I didn't start the race, unfortunately, so I'm gonna end up back in 17th. But Daniel Ferreira trying to, you can see as you mentioned earlier, Ferreira's brakes also glowing really hard too. And how, at a track like this, how much are you actually, abusing the brakes, if any?
Ooh, Langenberg actually taps the barriers a little bit again. I'm not sure. It looks like the car's holding up so far, but at a track like this, we can see it right now. You're using a lot of brake. There's a lot of very sharp corners. Turn 1, for example, it's obviously a really heavy braking corner, and there's a lot of these like little straightaways where you're using them. You're really using them up as hard as you can. You're using them really hard. I wouldn't say it compares to running them at like a short track on the oval side like Richmond or maybe Martinsville, but we can see right now they're stressing the brakes out right now. At least Langenberg is. Yeah,
and even Florida too is pretty hard on his brakes as well, and you're trying to get these cars slow down in time, especially down into the hairpin, also at the end of the front straightaway. Blasting down to turn number 1. Also, looking at the lead, nothing much. I thought it was getting closer for a second, but Yuta Peltomaki's just been not able to seal the deal. It's just a bit of a surprise, considering his normal pace in this series.
And doesn't seem like he's going to be able to really do anything right now. Those two teammates are pretty far out in front. Luke Barton actually even farther out in front, about over a 3-second lead for him over his teammate Jacob Toffson. Peltomaki about 3 seconds back as well. And then Danny O'Keefe another 5 seconds back to the 4th position. So these guys really spread out up at the front after that wreck.
And also, looking back at one of the closer battles on the track at the moment, it's Zach Booth. I thought he would have still lost touch of the guys up in front, but he's still doing pretty well for himself. At least keeping pace with Okregretsky as they're both trying to chase down Hassan. They've not been too successful in that. They will kind of remain equidistant from one another. You see Booth getting very close to the back. I want to say this is Peltomaki, or sorry, not Peltomaki, Okregretsky. Okregretsky, that is indeed him. as they're heading down onto the next straightaway. So he's been all over the back of him. Curious to see if we can see a pass sometime soon.
He's definitely going to try to, setting it way farther into the corners under braking, able to use those brakes better than the machine in front of him right now. As you can see, look how much he just closes up into the turn there, and he's not really paying much of a price on exit. He's able to stay right there, but there's really no passing opportunity coming up here unless he wants to go for a brave dive here, which I don't think is going to be very smart to do. I think he's going to have to wait for a couple corners, hopefully get the run down this front straight.
Now, as you see Sebastian Jackson ahead of them, he's currently a lap down in this race. Has not been a particularly good afternoon for him. See Booth get a very nice line through the hairpin, but it's going to be a little bit compromised on exit. But now down the straightaway, he's going to have a chance at some decent slipstream. Not sure if it's going to be enough for turn one, though.
Yeah, we'll see if this is able to get him that position, but I don't think he's going to be close enough, and I don't think he's going to really try to send it under braking in the fountain, as we see Riglitsky get a bit wide there, but no, you can't jump over. It's still a one-lane part of the track here.
Yeah, it's really up through this entire section, so maybe here you can maybe mount up something on the right-hand side, but now as they come into the straightaway, the track widens out significantly. You get another chance at a passing opportunity, and Booth looks to definitely be the faster of the two cars, but again, catching is one thing, is passing is another. As we see many times in all the different series we've had on Sim TV, but Booth still doing the best he can to chase him down, or really just get past him at this point.
It's going to be key to get by him as soon as you can. We got about 18 minutes left in this session. He could still get a points. He could still salvage something out of this, but he's got to get by this car right now as Riglitsky gets a bit wide there, but he's just running the perfect line, the perfect defensive line that Zach Booth just can't do anything about it right now. We'll see what... Ooh, Riglitsky kind of got into a wall there, and I don't think it's going to really affect them. Booth just not getting the exit out of that hairpin.
Yeah, that's his biggest Achilles heel at the moment, I would say. He keeps trying to charge in on entry, and especially out of the hairpin, you really need to prioritize the exit. I think that's where Gretzky's been taking away. Again, this is the best passing opportunities heading down to turn one on this entire track, so he's just not been able to get there to get close enough to get the draft from that, unfortunately. Further up, you see a battle starting to heat up as well for position for 6th place between Dana Flair and Langenberg. Flair's been trying to chase him down for the last few laps. It has now caught up significantly to him.
Yeah, Flair is doing a really good job of just making that time up. Last time by, he gained about half a second. We'll see if it's any more this time by. I'm still looking for those battle for 11th because I think this has the most potential for being a bit chaotic right now, because how impatient is Zach Booth going to get right now?
Booth, as you're mentioning, Booth and Gretzky going down to the back straightaway into turn number 9. Not quite able to get anything, but he's been pretty close. Now he just needs to make sure he gets to a decent round of that hairpin.
Yeah, that's what he's really got to focus on here. He goes a bit deeper in, gets really close to the inside barrier right there. Maybe a bit of contact there, but once again, he just can't get the run out. Not focusing enough on the run out. He's not going to be close enough to make a move into one.
I imagine his patience is going to be wearing out more and more as this race continues on. Guys, you know, at least get into somewhat close to the points, although both these guys have been losing out on Hassan, who's been driving away. He's now 4 seconds up the road from Ilka Gretzky. Oh no, as he makes a mistake, speaking of which, into the fountain section, gets the car looped back around immediately, but big mistake from Pavel is going to cost him a spot.
It's like it wasn't a bigger mistake. He's still able to continue with minimal damage. That was actually a good job of getting it back going. I don't think he even hit the barrier, just a bit of a mistake under slow speed, getting under braking, and that position's pretty much gone. Zach Booth's gonna fly away. We'll see if he can get the Martin on. See the Martin here.
Yeah, now that he's got some clean air to work with again, this car started fairly high up the order, I would imagine. It started in 8th, moved up significantly more spots as well, so some pace in this car to potentially catch up to Hassan, who's currently running in 9th. Started tonight, still running there, although that might not be for long, as Langenberg has caught up to the back of the 9 car.
There is something actually, because Langenberg was, I believe, 6th. He had something happen. I'm actually watching it right now. Lap 8 out of the hairpin, he actually made a mistake. He lost a bunch of positions.
Yeah, I was going to say, something didn't quite seem right to me in that.
Yeah, I had a mistake out of the hairpin, just looped it around a little bit. Yeah,
I'll get a view of it right here. Flying on through now into the hairpin he goes. Trying to see what happened. Oh, on exit. Ended up looping around.
Oh,
and then also,
that's gonna be That's definitely going to be some damage. It's going to go a bit backwards here. I don't think you're going to get speed doing that. Trying to find somewhere to get it back going around here. Is going to find that. Going to try to loop it around. Nope, can't do it there. 3-point turn. Better than Mahavir.
I don't know.
He didn't need help. We're good. He didn't need help. It's definitely costly on time, though. That left front of the wing's definitely a bit dinged up, though.
Yeah, indeed. I am really glad in that we were thinking of the exact same thing.
At least, I don't know, Mahavir didn't damage the car, I don't think.
No.
But I think Tyler's fine. Hopefully that damage doesn't affect him too much. It's definitely going to be like a boat down these straightaways here. We'll see how much it really hurts him clean through the hairpin this time. But Zach Booth is coming for that 1 point.
Yeah, I'm sure that's definitely not going to be doing Langenberg any favors catching up to Langenberg. So he's going to be struggling with some slight left wing damage. You can see there the left side of the wing bent in a little bit, looking at Booth for comparison. Only dinged up a little bit, seemed significantly worse.
Orglicky, he's out again. He's got big damage this time.
Oh, yeah.
That must have been through... I'm trying to see if he maybe clipped the inside of the wall somewhere, or maybe that was... I wonder where that was damaged from. That happened just recently. I think one of the left-handers. We'll see right here. It's the next turn up. So we'll see what happens here. See if he just gets too sideways in too deep, maybe?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. We'll see here. Oh, no, not there.
No, not there.
I guess turning back on
Lap
to...
10.
I might have gone too far back. My thing kind of messed up a bit, so... I think we'll just go back live, but Okagretzi getting back on the pit road, getting back out on the track. He's going to be 1 lap down. What was looking to be a decent day is now not looking so much as he's back in 13th place.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Just a bit of a mistake. I think he just got too deep into that turn, so we'll have to hope that doesn't happen again. Meanwhile, we don't have a complete battle brewing for second round, but Jacob Toffs has lost a bit of time to Peltamaki, but meanwhile Luke Barton is just absolutely gone, more than 7 seconds up the road here on his teammate.
Yeah, absolutely. And meanwhile, in behind for 4th place, Daniel Keefe is under fire from Enzo Heceta, charging back up to it. And Heceta has been having an up and down season in some places, but looking to be pretty good here. Can get a top 5 finish here if he can just hold on, but he's not done yet. He's trying to get 4th place.
He's really going for it right now. Is Tyler Langenberg's actually out of the race now. Langenberg has some damage. I'm wondering if he got some more damage. He's getting for his fast repair now, so he's going to drop down the order. He's already been lapped anyways, back in 12th, maybe worse. Meanwhile, this battle for 4th, trying to heat up. His Injo Haiseta not close enough to make a move into turn number 1 there. He's going to have to try to gear up for the next round.
Yeah, caught up to him and has been trying to get at him. This is the same thing we saw with Zach Booth. Ideally, you're going to want to prioritize the exit out of the hairpin, but there's still some other places on the track you could make a pass. It's going to be easier said than done, but still definitely within the realm of possibilities to see if Heceta can get the pass done here to move himself into 4th place. Got some decent speed, and also taking a look at where he started this night. Started in 7th place, up into 5th. Has been a decent climb forward for Heceta.
Yeah, the guys that started up front and were in front of that wreck, or at least close enough to somewhere around there to miss it, they're doing well right now. Because these guys, top 3 stayed the same. O'Keefe and Haiseta up from 6th and 7th. I think that's Floria, who's the really big beneficiary. 17th to 6th, 11th spots up. And then Hoygaard Larson actually lost some spots. He's down to 7th, but he was able to avoid the big wreck, so it's still a big win for him if he can hold on to that 7th position. About 2 seconds up on Scott Hensley.
And Heceta not really able to close the gap much at all last lap through. And, you know, again, do you think that maybe there's just no overcoming the dirty air for some of these guys, or might just be too big to overcome? Because we've seen them kind of hovering around that 8/10, 7/10 gap and not really able to close in much more than that.
It's kind of tough. I think at some point you just gotta... At some point you just start hoping for a mistake. You see, a lot of these guys are just having a lot of difficulty, even not just trying to make a pass, trying to even get there to make a pass. Zach Booth struggled with the same thing, like you said. So, I don't know. Sometimes you just got to mail it in and hope for a mistake at some point and just give up on really trying to pass him right now, because it just seems like Haiseta just can't make anything happen. Really dove into that turn there, but it just seems like he can't stay with him. Really pushing it on entry right now.
And this race starting to wind down into its waning stages here with just about 10 laps left, 12 minutes on the clock for these drivers. But not a whole lot of time remaining, although for our leaders, they're pretty much said and done for the most part. Peltomaki still keeping Jacob Tops a bit on. Let's check back up with these guys. You can see Tops right here coming through turn 1. Peltomaki not too far in behind him, trying to chase him down. And so that's really the only one of the close battles, but no one is even close to touching Luke Barton, who's in a class of his own here.
Yeah, he's just setting an absolutely blistering pace. He's actually already lapped everyone outside the top 10. Trevor Anderson, Tyler Langenberg, Sebastian Jackson, all those other guys already a lap down, racing. Not racing for nothing, but they're not really racing for much right now. The next one to go a lap down would be Zach Booth, who's putting down decent laps. Actually, Zach Booth's into the wall.
Booth hard! Yeah, as you were saying, hard into the wall for Booth. And I think he's also just lost a wheel as well. Yeah, so he's lost his left front. He's got the leader right in behind. He's going to be struggling to make this turn. He's going to still try to bring that car back to pit road. He's going to be trying really hard to just get this car back in the race. He actually just got passed by Trevor Anderson. You saw go flying to the wall. And this is, I guess, why you never give up when you're racing. We saw him going flying up and over in the fountain section. He's now found himself back in the points.
Yeah, he finds himself back in the points now. A good job from get that car back into that type of contention. So we'll see what he can do here. He's got 1 point, and he's really got no challenge behind him. 11th place was Zach Booth. I believe it's going to be Tyler Langenberg, who's not even into the final turn yet. So we'll see how that works. Yeah, Zach Booth gets a faster pair, and he's going to try to get back out there. Booth might stay 11th.
Yeah, we saw for Booth there. Just had a severe amount of understeer heading through turn 9. And ended up hitting the wall very hard, so that's what causes damage. But you can see him coming back out of the pits now. He's going to come back out in 11th place. He's going to be 30 seconds behind Trevor Anderson. I'm sorry, I don't care if your name is Michael Schumacher or Lewis Hamilton. You're not making up 30 seconds in 10 minutes.
Not without a mistake from one of those guys up there. He was back in the points after the mistake he made earlier, and now he's got to hope to get some of that all over again here. It's going to be hard to even get 1 point now.
Here's a battle starting to brew. Scott Hensley on the back of Daniel Ferreira, who had a very abysmal last lap. 124 for Florea, and that's allowed Hensley to catch back up now and start this battle for 7th place.
Yeah, I'm wondering where he lost that time. I'm trying to go back myself. The last 15 is the same. That same left-hander caught Florea out. Florea spun, though. He didn't actually slam the wall like Langenberg did, or whoever that was. I might be mistaken, but he made that. It's this turn right here. Hopefully he doesn't make the same mistake again under braking. All clean this time. Seems like a couple of guys getting caught out by that one.
Yeah, it definitely can, especially imagine as the tires wear out, it's going to be harder and harder to take the turn because you're going so fast.
Sorry, Hyseta into the pits. Hyseta made a mistake. I wonder if that was on the final turn. The front wing destroyed on that car.
Oh, not even the front wing. Look at the suspension. He's turning completely left to keep that car going straight. What on earth happened to Hyseta? He was having such a good run.
Out of the hairpin. He spun it just like Langenberg. Out of the hairpin. He gets deep in on the brakes there. Kind of hits that curb. And just too hard on the throttle. And that was a hard hit. And immediately into the pits.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate end to his run that was going so well for him. See right there, just got on the gas and into the wall. He went very hard. Hit impact for Hyseta enough to really damage the suspension, but I guess it's not completely doomed. At least he's still in the points. But it's going to hurt quite a bit considering he was looking at a top 5.
Yeah, that's a really tough task to try to get those positions back now. As we're seeing, this whole race is marred by mistakes after mistake after mistake after mistake. Zach Booth started off with a mistake, and it's just been going through the field right now. The only one of the few people who hasn't made a mistake is probably Luke Barton because he's 10 seconds ahead. Jacob Toffs has probably had a pretty clean race right now. Also, Sam Kutert, I guess, didn't make a mistake of his own. It's just unfortunate circumstances. But a lot of these guys just, it's one turn or another, these guys are having trouble navigating all of these corners.
Absolutely. You're talking about Luke Barton, who's just now extended the lead to just over 10 seconds ahead of his teammate in 2nd place. You see Jacob Toffs working around. That was Pavel Kugrecki putting him 2 laps down to at least himself. Well, not having a good day. It's continuing to go bad for him. Juho Peltomaki has been trying this entire race to chase down Jacob Toffs, but for the pace has just not been there in the 82 car. Looking like he might have to settle for that 3rd step on the podium. Danny O'Keefe, who can take a little bit of a breather after Hyseta had some trouble. He's got 25 seconds to the next car in behind him, so he can kind of cruise down to a solid 4th place finish. And we got 5th place, Frederick Larson sitting, rounding out that top 5. Daniel Ferreira He's been expanding away from Scott Hensley, sitting in 7th place, trying to chase him back down. And here is Haseta. And if he's still got some time on the board, potentially get 1, maybe 2 spots if he can catch back up to Hensley.
He's got 5 minutes to do it. We know how tough it is to pass. I'm not sure if he'll be able to get to Hensley. Hensley actually almost overshot the corner there. Haseta getting really close to that wall, really pushing the car to its absolute limit here. He's really going to try to get that extra couple of points for that 7th position. He's almost sideways out of these turns. He's driving it so hard.
Yeah, and again, did not change tires, so the tires are, he's asking a lot of the car when the tires really can't give much more. And that's why I think we're seeing a lot of the tire guys struggling. They had fresh tires for most of this race, but now dealing with the reduction in tire grip due to the tire wearing out, but made up a lot of time through the hairpin there on Hensley. And I wanted to take a look at the lap before we didn't get a full lap from Haseta just yet, but now as he comes across the line, now we can compare himself to Scott Hensley. For Haseta ran a...
Also won't come up.
Didn't come up for him.
Yeah, because he was exiting the pits, I assume.
I thought that was last lap.
I don't know. I think he exited the pits there. It doesn't matter. Still didn't come up, and he's still trying to charge on Scott Hensley. Hensley kind of overdriving these corners as well, especially the fountain corner. I said it really gained a lot of time right there.
Yeah, but either way, you can definitely tell if the timing wouldn't show it. You can definitely see on the track. As Hensley hits the wall hard, his setup barely avoids him.
And he somehow didn't get the position. I thought Hensley was going to drop back. I said he's going to go to the inside for it. Look, nothing going
and lost
there.
A lot of time doing that as well. And Haseta going to be a little bit frustrated there. Had a great shot at getting the spot, couldn't get it done. See what happened there, especially from Haseta's point of view. Hensley, went flying off in the tire barrier, and Haseta did a great job avoiding.
I don't know. I guess Scott Hensley didn't get too much damage out of that because he's able to continue and keep that position. And Haseta not really showing much more speed down the straightaway, so Hensley might have really gotten away with one there. And all this battling is just going to bring Martin, that 9 machine. He's going to bring him right in the battle. It's going to be a 3-car fight at the mid-pack here.
Yeah, you can see Martin Martin Hassan right in behind there, and he's coming up. Haseta back in the pits again?
I wonder if he got a penalty. I don't know why he would have hit there. He didn't hit anything.
This is a very surprising turn of events.
I'm not sure about that, but you know who that helps? That's probably going to help Zach Booth. Zach Booth might be in the points here. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm amazed by this because it is very hard to get incidents at a track like this because there's not really, chance for an off track. Maybe you can get some car contact, but I don't think he hit.
He didn't hit anything.
Yeah, so I don't know.
He was running fine. It had to be a penalty. That we don't know of or something.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure
guess.
why else.
So still not entirely sure, and I do wish we were able to see how many incidents these guys have, but unfortunately don't have that data available to us. So Haseta going to come on through, and it looks like it was just a drive-through, I think. Or no, he did come in for a stop and go.
So it was a stop and go of some sort. Maybe it is incidents, and he's back to 10th, and now he's going to have to fend off Zach Booth, who comes out right behind him. So it's going to be probably a fight to the finish for these points here, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, no, it definitely is. It's only going to be for 1 point, but I mean, hey, that's better than nothing. At least means he gained something in this race, and we'll see Booth. He's trying to chase him back down, and Booth has got the tires nice and worn up. I don't think he's been abusing them either. Haseta's been asking a lot out of them over the last few laps. Can imagine maybe they've overheated, but might have had a chance to cool down in the pits. We'll have to see. Here's Booth all over the back of Haseta.
Yeah, Booth's definitely going to be going for it. I wouldn't say he's been overdriving it every single lap, but he's definitely pushing the issue harder than he has to be. As he's all over Haseta. I don't know if Haseta's got anything to fight with. Booth's got the run. Gonna look to the right side, the preferred line into this turner. Just gonna dive it down there, and he's gonna have the position easily.
It gets passed on in turn number 9 for Booth. Up into the points for the first time since, I think, the first 5-10 minutes of the race. And can at least potentially walk out here at 1 point, that is, unless Haseta can chase him back down, although that car not looking in a particularly good condition. He's been somewhat slow. I would have thought he would have been able to expand the gap out, but it might not be enough for the Ford to get past the 7 of Zach Booth.
Yeah, I think this is all. I think he's waiting for Zach Booth to hopefully make another mistake, maybe into the barriers again. I don't think he's got any tire to work with here in any of these corners. He's got no advantage, so he's got to have to hope for something to happen. Don't clip that. I can't imagine getting that close to the wall and not hitting it. It is a very tough place to do this, as we see this whole stack up here. I'm not sure how many lap cars are involved in this one.
Pretty much they're all about to be lap cars, as you got Martin Hansen in behind Scott Hensley, and then we got our leader, I believe, Luke Barton, that is indeed the leader. trying to get past these two guys, although Barton could kind of just sitting behind and watch these two guys battle out, or not, as you just saw Hansen being led by Hensley.
Yeah, going by for that 7th position, more points for him. Luke Barton just doesn't want to push the issue. He doesn't want to ruin this perfect race. He's ran an absolutely perfect race, 11-second lead. He's not going to force it on 2 lap cars just because he wants to lap them. He's got to be very patient here with Scott Hensley.
Yeah, if you pressure a lap car too much, they can spin. And again, considering this is a street circuit, not many places for that car spinning out to go. So you got to be very careful, pick them up, put them down one at a time. As Barton trying to find a way, clean way past Martin Hansen again. Sorry, Scott Hensley in 8th place.
He's definitely not pushing the issue. He might just be wanting to ride around him. He's showing the inside. He's saying, hey, I'm there, let me by. But Hensley wants to still battle for this position. I'm not going to let him by so easily.
Yeah, no mandatory blue flags in iRacing. Gonna have to essentially wait for the guy in front of you to let you on by if he's kind enough. And I think, whoa, that got really close.
That was almost too close, as I think this is going to... He shows the inside swerving a little bit. He's got the pace to do it because he's mad, but he's still way in the lead. I think this might be the white flag. There's not much time left. I think this is the white flag lap, so he's really just got to ride behind Scott Hensley and just ride it out and just hope he doesn't get into the barriers. He actually lost 2 seconds that lap to Jacob Toffs, but it's not going to be enough unless there was more laps in the race.
Yeah, I think this should be white flag because he's got 9 seconds back to Jacob Toffs to bleed, and I think he came maybe with an extra second or 2 on the clock, so you could just kind of slow down and easily limp the car back to the line. It doesn't need a push at all. I think he's honestly just deciding to stay behind Hensley. That's honestly the safer move. No, as Hensley goes out wide, hits the wall. Oh, it's Barton! No, it's spin
oh my God!
As Barton gets involved, but gets back going immediately.
He's got to get back going, and I think Jacob Toffs is just out of that last corner. Barton's going to have to limp it home. Hopefully the suspension isn't destroyed. My goodness.
And a spin.
Was that Hansen? Yeah, it was. That's what we were talking about, those lap cars. If they spin ahead of you, they'll absolutely destroy you, and that happened to Luke Barton, but he still might have enough to be able to fend off for that
Hansen's
position.
still going tit for tat with the race leader, and I'm sure Barton's not going to be too terribly pleased with the fact that he got damaged on the last lap, but it's going to be just enough time, makes it around the hairpin in one piece, and will be able to walk home with the win after a very interesting last lap. Almost went away right there. But Barton should walk home with the race win. I wanted to make sure that's the checker flag. I didn't get a checkered flag.
Is it not a checkered flag?
Yeah, it's still showing white.
That's interesting if it is, because we're past the minutes for sure. And they're still racing, I think, like it is. So maybe this is the final lap. Maybe we're mistaken. If so, this isn't going to be a fun final lap, but there's still lap cars between the 2 leaders. Sebastian Jackson not letting Jacob Toffs by.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he's probably yelling at Jackson, move, get out of the way. I got my teammate to pass with damage over there. There you finally see Jackson move out of the way. So we got an extra lap of racing. That's not exactly what Barton needed at all.
No, it isn't. It's definitely, this has to be the final lap, I would think. But I don't know if Jacob Toffs can get back to Luke Barton. Barton's still able to make a decent enough time that he's keeping pace with Jacob Toffs. And there's a lap car between them now. I think it's already over unless Barton makes a mistake here.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he had clean air, I think Toffs definitely could have got back up to Barton, but not going to be enough. He needed an extra lap, although with the way the scoring's gone, maybe we might have that. But now, out of the hairpin, Barton should be able to see...
This is the final lap.
Should be able to see the checkered flag as it's flying in the air. He's going to limp that car home for a lap and a half, that was. And definitely the most interesting lap and a half of the race for Barton as he came and dominated this race. Is going to take up the win. Jacob Toffs' team is going to settle for 2nd place as Yoel Beltamaki going to have to settle for the final step of the podium. Then you go all the way back to Danny O'Keefe still working his way through turn 9. That's how big the gap was between the top 3 and everyone else. But O'Keefe, he can make it through the final corner in one piece, should be able to walk home with 4th. Indeed, he will. Gets back on the gas okay. And his teammate Larson, also working down the back straightaway, is going to potentially come home in 5th place. And Scott Hensley all the way back was able to stay ahead of the leaders. He should settle for 6th, but wow.
Yeah, that's a bit of chaos. Luke Barton goes over to radio calling the back markers not very good. I will keep that clean. With them. I could imagine he's not happy. He almost cost him a race win in a race he absolutely dominated. Definitely, he has no reason to be happy. He has no reason to show any sort of politeness towards them. He is not happy at all.
Yeah, there you can see your top 10 Luke Barton again taking home the win barely by just under a second between himself and Jacob Topp. I'm sure he's happy there wasn't another extra lap.
Oh yeah, that would have been.
I will say I was pretty surprised by that because I thought, and I guess this has a way to do with the way iRacing works. I think
I know the ticker showed final lap. So
it showed final lap, and I would have thought, especially with him getting damaged and being completely stopped on the track for a second there, he definitely would not have had enough time to start another lap. But I guess the way it works is that, you know why? No, there's not lap scheduled as well. I don't know, honestly. I don't know how the way iRacing works.
It wanted to try to make Luke Barton lose, but the game still wasn't successful. Luke Barton too fast for them. Even with the damaged car, still able to hold on. Those lappers, those back markers, those lap car, I wouldn't say back markers, just the lap traffic at the end there was really tough. They weren't giving the leaders any inch. Not just Luke Barton. They didn't let Jacob Toff's by so easily. That was really tough for those guys to navigate, and I can see why they're not. See why they're upset, because they really weren't getting any help from those lap cars. So they're just lucky they were able to get home after all that drama.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, we're going to quickly cut to break here because we got F1 qualifying coming up in just a few minutes.